So Jesse is getting ready to embark on a brand new journey.
Yep.
He's making cider.
Yep. Yeah. So a while ago, Mike clued me in that every year the local King Soopers, Kroger's grocery store does they have their apple juice on sale for a good price. What is it, like
10 for 10.
10 for 10? Yeah. So it's $1 per half gallon.
Yeah, so basically, basically $10 for 5 gallons of cider. So yeah.
So so rather than jumping whole hog into 5 gallons of cider, I have a 3-gallon carboy that I don't really use too often anymore. So I figured I'd just do 3 gallons and try that and see how it turns out. And if I like it, then we'll do, because I like your cider. That always turns out really good.
Yeah.
So
although I'll have to admit, I think that the homebrewed cider, it is very dry, and to me it has a slight alcoholic quality to it. That really stands out to me.
Yeah.
And that, like the first batch I made, I was like, oh, that didn't come out really good. And then made, oh, that's the same. And I tried someone else's, like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to taste like. So good. Hey, this is good.
Yeah, there we go. That's right.
Yeah. I gotta say, I think it lasts forever. I've drank bottles that were 4 or 5 years old and they tasted fine.
I know you've given me some, and for whatever reason, I got pushed in the back of the fridge. And I'm like, oh, hey, here's a cider like Mike gave me. Fine, it was delicious.
Yeah. Now, if you're, and also if you have a bunch of cider, you can make apple cider vinegar, but that'll be for another episode.
Yeah, that's a different episode, which I'd also be interested in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we figured we'd take it from soup to nuts. So if anybody's out there watching and they don't know anything about brewing beer and they don't know what equipment to do and they really want to know, we'll walk you through the whole process. It's that simple. So right now I've got kind of the basic necessities for fermenting a thing, which is, like I mentioned, the carboy, the bung for the carboy, 3-piece airlock. You can also use the S-type or whatever kind of airlock fits your needs. And if you want to use a blow-off tube, you could use that. We've got,
Wonderful sanitizer.
some Star Sand.
Your sugar source.
Which is obviously
Cider this time.
And go ahead.
And then Safal 04 British ale yeast.
Yes. So I think that's where a lot of the contention comes with people who make ciders, is what kind of yeast to use. Because obviously the sugar source or the ciders, especially use the cheap stuff. Unless you're pressing your own, they're all going to be kind of the same. So that's really going to be the distinctive quality in each person's cider, is what kind of yeast they use. So I just picked that up because it's easy and it stores forever. If I picked up a liquid yeast, I didn't know when I was going to make this. I was afraid it was going to go bad, and I didn't feel like messing around with making a starter.
Yeah.
So
and I was going to say, the other thing you want to pay attention to is the attenuation on your yeast, because if you make a batch and it's too dry, you can pick a yeast that doesn't quite attenuate so much, and then you'd have a sweeter cider. And if you're making this for people with gluten allergies, I think it's Omega, or not Omega, is it Omega yeast?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, Omega yeast has a yeast specifically for ciders that is made in a gluten-free medium.
Oh.
So you won't trigger no allergies there.
Ooh, okay, yeah, for people that are hypersensitive to gluten, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Wow, yeah, I never considered that. That's interesting to know. So, yeah, because my father-in-law has celiac disease, and so I was going to think I'd make some of this, and hey, here you go, we're going to have some of this, but I don't think he'll care. He'll still try it, and he's not very good about not eating meat, so.
Yeah, I don't know about the dry yeast. You'd have to look that up, but yeah, it depends on how bad his allergy is.
Yeah, it's bad, but I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah.
So it's not like some kids in school where they can't be around anyone eating peanuts, they'll break out. Anyway, also have some yeast nutrient. So there are certain nutrients, like if you're making mead, wine, cider, pretty much anything but beer, really, with malt. The yeast need more nutrients than's provided in the apple cider. Yeah,
malt has all the nutrients they need. Although I'll still throw some in on a big beer.
Yeah, I do
just
too.
to help it out.
Yeah, because it can't hurt. I like happy yeast, so you make good beer.
And realistically, you can make it without the yeast nutrient. You just might get some off flavors that take a little while to come out.
Yeah, or it'll take longer to finish.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
So our first step, the most important step,
is open the apple soup.
Oh, I thought we were going to clean it. Sanitization.
This is the most important step. always and forever.
Yeah. And of course you're sanitizing it because you don't want anything else growing in there because you have a really sugary solution.
So this is, I'm using RO water. I just poured out a half gallon from a giant jug that I have. I just use RO water because I had some, but you could use tap water for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although pro tip, if you use RO water, your sanitizer will last longer.
Right. And actually I poured out the RO water because I thought I had to fill my sanitizer spray jug, and I wanted to keep it for a while. But I already had some in there, so
Oh, nice.
So this aside, so another interesting little tidbit here is, if you're familiar with Star San, it has graduated marks. So you open this puppy up, you squeeze it, and there's graduated marks. So was it like half an ounce or quarter ounce, half ounce?
Yeah.
It's a half ounce per 5 gallons.
I think it's 1 ounce per 5 gallons.
1 ounce per 5
Yeah.
gallons. Yes, that's right. 1 ounce per 5 gallons.
And of course, if you want to make 2.5 gallons, you use half ounce.
Yeah. So, but what if you want to make a half gallon?
Or a teaspoon.
Yeah.
No, not a teaspoon.
So a little trick that I found. What do I do with my thing? Oh, there it is. On the internet, is that if you measure out, it's so without going into boring math and all that stuff, 1 gallon of water, you put in 6 milliliters of Star San. That's like, so because it's like 1/20th of 5 gallons. So you do 1/20th of 1 ounce, which is 6 milliliters. So I'm only doing half gallon, so I'm going to do 3 milliliters.
Nice. It is nice to be able to save some money on sanitizer.
Yeah, I always hate pouring that stuff out because it's not super expensive, but it's expensive.
Well, but you hate wasting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we'll just squirt that in there.
And before we're filming, I've been telling Jesse for a while, I started filling my empty kegs with sanitizer after I cleaned them, because if you use RO water, store it in a stainless steel container, it lasts forever. And I just pump it out little by little as I need it. And then when I need a keg, I just pump it all out of the keg, and now I've got a sanitized keg with no oxygen in it.
Yeah, and I'm such a tightwad cheap person that I have this, because you have to go buy the RO water. I don't have a filtration system in my home, so I go to the grocery store and fill up the giant jug, and I'm thinking I should just take one of those and make sanitizer. Oh, that's like $4 worth of water there. I don't want to do that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Just because I'm such a dork.
Yeah, well, it's just convenient to have it around. And like I said, it lasts forever.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 months, I think,
I
at least.
finally made like 4 or 5 gallons of it, and it's still sitting in my garage. I just use it. It's slowly getting used up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still have some. So
And of course, with Star San, don't fear the foam.
do not fear the foam.
You know, if Star San, if you guys want to send us shirts that say "Don't fear the foam" or something, send away.
I wouldn't send them back.
Nope.
So I think that's good. Agreed.
Yep.
All right. Excellent. So sanitization.
And just pour the apple juice right in here.
Yep. Don't
No,
fear the foam,
don't do that.
but fear the liquid.
We may have to take a short break while we let the foam come out.
Just Let's see here. How's it gonna go? Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. We'll be right
Okay,
back.
we'll be back.
All right, we're back. Drained. Most of the foam is gone.
Yeah.
So we got that sanitized. Yeah.
You get your funnel
So
sanitized?
I do not. So if you want to, so this is where a spray bottle full of sanitizer comes in real handy. So you don't have to, get the funnel or something like that into the actual, giant thing of sanitizer.
Did you want to put your... So what I like doing is put, and you don't have to do this of course, but I put the yeast nutrient in first, so the apple cider will get it out of the funnel and stir it up.
That's a good idea. I hadn't considered that. I was just going to carefully put it in the top of the carboy. But, so, according to the yeast nutrient instructions, it's supposed to use a teaspoon per gallon, and so, of must. So I think this is more geared towards mead, wine, that type of thing. But Mike looked it up, and it says cider too, so we'll just roll with it. But as most people know, a teaspoon, 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon. So I'm putting in a tablespoon for these 3 gallons. Make sure I got this horrible. There you go. Tablespoon.
I didn't know that, by the way. I was telling him I always ask my Amazon Echo for different measurement conversions.
Yeah, well, the only ones I have to look up is how much butter. It's like the butter conversion is terrible.
Oh,
You want a tablespoon of butter and how many cups is that? And it's like, oh, I don't know. I just have a problem with that.
I think a stick's a quarter cup.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And I know a third of a cup is like 5 1/3 tablespoons of butter.
okay.
Just, I think so. Just because that's the recipe for Frank's Red Hot Wing Sauce.
I started writing down the metric, how many grams of butter it takes, just because it's so much easier to measure out. Excellent.
Nice. Do you want to keep going?
Yeah, we'll keep going. Man, it smells good.
It does. And I think Star San actually, I listened to an interview with a guy from Star San, and I think he said that the foam is actually acts like a yeast nutrient.
You know, I heard that a long time ago, and I went to our local homebrew store and asked the proprietor about that, and he looked at me like I had just grown another finger out of my head. He was like, "What? No, yeast nutrient is that so?"
Oh, you're gonna have foam coming out the top,
Oh,
unless you want to pull it up so it
let's do
breaks the
that.
foam up.
Just roll with it.
Whoa!
It's all right.
Whoa! That's another nice thing about brewing is a lot of times when I spill stuff, it's either hot water or sanitizer. So it's like blast! Now the floor is clean.
I made a clean spot. All right, we're done with that.
Get your phone out of the way.
Thank you. I'll take this. Do a quick wipe. Excellent.
Oh, that's pretty.
Wow, yeah, look at that. Wowzers. Nice.
So then you just gotta sprinkle your yeast,
Yep.
and that's about it. Need a knife?
Yes, please.
And personally, I usually wait for the cider to clear out. So it'll ferment. Sometimes you get some krausen. Usually it's not too bad. And then when it's done, well, the fermentation takes a lot longer. It'll be really slow for a long time. But I'll wait until it clears out, usually a couple of months before I worry about it. Now our friend Bill, I make this cranberry cider, which is 4 gallons of this stuff. I neutralize it with some potassium sorbate and potassium sulfate, and then put a gallon of cranberry juice in it in the keg. And we have a friend that goes nuts about it. And he just got a Keyser at a garage sale. And I end up doing 3 5-gallon batches just so I can make sure I have a supply for him.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes through that pretty quickly. I'm still jealous of his find.
$50 for a
Keyser.
2K Keyser, taps, tower, and a CO2 bottle.
So if you didn't see that, I sanitized the bone, what she said. And I'll go ahead and sanitize the airlock a little bit. And then I always cheat since I don't really have a way to fill this up.
That's exactly how I do it.
And done.
That's it. And then you just put it somewhere and forget about it.
Oh, you can see all the yeasties going, starting to find their home. It's like the Oklahoma Sooners.
You got a bunch in your neck.
Yeah, I do. Here, let's-
I'm going to end up tipping that out. We'll save that for the outtakes episode.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, but
Let's try this. I sanitized my thumb. Hold that, please.
sure.
We'll get a little bit of
There you go. It's not as pretty now, but it's got more yeast in solution.
Yeah. There we go. I feel better.
But yeah, that's it.
That would have bothered me, all that yeast up there.
Yeah.
I would have gotten there eventually. So, how big, I don't know if you mentioned this already, I was busy, but How big does Kreuzen get?
I would put a blow-off tube on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that. I've got one in there.
Yeah, and I don't know. It really depends on the temperature. Your basement is kind of cold, so maybe you won't have to worry about it. But you know what they say about blow-off tubes. You know, if you don't put it on there, that's when you need it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think everyone who's brewed more than 3 batches has a story about what happens.
Yeah.
So I've had a couple.
So, and of course, you probably already know these three-piece airlocks. The tube in there is actually a 1/2 inch, so you could put a 1/2 inch piece of tubing over it, and then put that into another bottle of sanitizer and use that as a blow-off.
Yep. Wow, so it's that simple, huh?
That's it, yeah.
So the 3 ingredients: apple juice, yeast, and some nutrient.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to, then of course people, like Mike was saying, he puts cranberry in his, but people put all kinds of things in here. So, you can put any type of adjunct in there that you see fit, but I wanted to keep it simple this time, so maybe next time we'll put something fun in there.
And then you can bottle it without any priming sugar and drink it still, or bottle it with a little priming sugar just like beer and, have it carbonated.
Yeah. That kind of concerned me because depending on how much residual sugar there is,
Mm-hmm.
if you put too much in there, it's easy to make bottle bombs with cider from what I understand, so you have to, there's a process to that. So,
Okay.
And I didn't feel like doing that, so I'm just going to wind up kegging this and
there you go.
roll with that.
Yeah, like I said, I usually leave mine for a couple of months.
Yeah.
So, but it's done fermenting by the time I bottle it. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can't imagine I'd be that patient though. So you're like, hey, the Kreuzen drop, let's bottle this, bottle this bitch. So boom, boom. So, but, excellent. Well, yeah. Thanks for the tutelage, and hopefully you all learned something. If you have any questions about what we said, drop a comment.
Well, you got any favorite recipes? Let us know.
Yeah.
If you're still watching, like and subscribe. Because you're definitely one of our fans.
Because you probably already have by now. But
yeah.
So, yeah. Well, excellent. Well, yeah, thanks.
For next time?
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for watching our video. Check out our website at coloradobrewtalk.com for more great content.
While you're there, be sure to leave us a comment or drop us a line with your thoughts.
You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at CO Brew Talk, or follow the links below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future content.
Or episodes. As the case may be.